Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Homemade. And today, you all, we are making a double treat. When I say a double treat, it is a brownie cookie. Now, with these cookies, they are so simple to make, you all. And the inside of the cookie is gooey, the outside is a little crispy, but I promise you, when you make these cookies, you will not be disappointed. Now, typically when we make our cookies, we know that we like to refrigerate them for at least 30 minutes, but I always say 2 hours to overnight gives you the best flavor. It gives you the best um, consistency of your cookie. It is awesome. But with these cookies, we are going to mix up the batter and we are going to pop them onto our baking sheet and place them directly into the oven because we want them to have the brownie consistency. So we don't want them to refrigerate and get hard. We want to pop them in while our cookie dough is still soft. Now, let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that we're going to do is we are going to take 1 cup of chocolate chips. And you all, these chocolate chips, I have the espresso chocolate chips for these, but you can use a semi-sweet, dark chocolate, milk chocolate, whatever you want. Even if you want to use just the chocolate bar, the baking bar, you can use that also. We're going to take 1 cup of this, and we're also going to take 5 tablespoons of butter, and we are going to place these into the microwave for 1 minute and 30 seconds because we want our chocolate chips and our butter to melt, because we're going to whisk this up and we want it to have a smooth consistency. So let's go ahead, pop this into the microwave, come back, and we're going to start preparing the rest of our ingredients. We've placed our chocolate chips and our butter into the microwave, and if you can see, our butter has melted along with our chocolate. So we're going to take our whisk and we're just going to whisk this until it becomes a very smooth mixture. The chocolate chip. So again, that's the consistency that we are looking for. So now we're going to start mixing our sugar. In this bowl, I do have 2/3 cup of granulated sugar, and I also have 1/4 cup of brown sugar. So we're going to pour that in. We're going to mix that in. Okay. Now, once we've gotten that mixed in, we are also going to pour in 2 tablespoons of vanilla. And I didn't measure that, I just kind of eyed it, but it is totally fine. You just want to whisk that. Now, it will look clumpy at first when you first add in your sugar, but that is totally fine. You're just going to keep stirring it until you get a smooth mixture again. Now, I'm going to add in 1 whole egg and 1 egg yolk. You just want to whisk that in really well. Now, you don't want to over mix your dough. Now, in this bowl, I have 1/2 cup of all-purpose flour. I have 2 tablespoons of cocoa. I have 1 teaspoon of baking powder. I have 1/2 teaspoon of corn starch, and I just have a small pinch of salt. So I'm going to give this a quick whirl just to kind of get everything mixed in there. And now we are going to add in our chocolate. For this step, You can use a whisk, but again, you do not want to over mix your batter. Just kind of want to get everything mixed in there really well. And I have lined my baking sheet with parchment paper already. I have preheated my oven to 325 degrees. I'm going to take my scoop. Now with these, you're going to place them onto your cookie sheet, and you don't want them to be so close together because you don't want them to spread into each other. So how I like to do mine, if I'm not using the actual scoop with the release, I just kind of like to place mine onto my cookie sheet into a circle. So we're going to go ahead, pop these into our oven. I'm going to set my timer for 15 minutes, pull them out, let them cool, and we are going to come back and sample some of this goodness. Our cookies have came out of the oven and they have cooled. You know, I love a thin, chewy cookie. Now, they are thin, but you all, they are so chewy on the inside and crispy on the outside. So let's go ahead and sample this goodness. You all, these cookies, thin but chewy. And they are so filled with the cocoa and the chocolate, they taste like a very thin brownie. You have to try these. When you try these, make sure you leave your comments, leave your pictures in the comment section below. Let me know what you liked about the recipe. Now, I will say this. If you want a thicker cookie, then you will let your batter sit out on the counter. You do not have to refrigerate it. You'll let it sit out on the counter for about 15 minutes, and that way it gives your batter time to thicken up. I don't like a thick cookie, so I like for mine to turn out thin. Again, if you want a thicker cookie, and instead of using just the egg yolk, you would use the entire egg. You can omit the corn starch in there also. Those things will help you get a thicker cookie. But if you're like me and you like a thin, chewy cookie, you go straight from the mixing bowl to the oven. Now, again, if you want to keep seeing these easy homemade recipes, make sure you like, subscribe, and share our channel. As I always say, cooking is as easy or as hard as you make it. But I promise you, if you keep it simple, just be yourself, life in itself can be so much easier. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Homemade. And until next time, continue to be great.